Welcome to the Stockboy Gaming channel, where today we're going to talk about 3 different Comet S2s, and that might be a little bit confusing, but we're going to look at this new Cabrio, which is a pretty awesome car. It's a lot of fun. We're also going to look at the current version, the nerfed version of the original Comet S2, as well as the original itself. So we're going to compare them all, and I'm going to be honest, some of this doesn't make a whole lot of sense, so we'll talk about all that and more. Make sure you stick around to the end. For our first race of many, we go to La Puerta Dragway. We've got the new Comet S2 Cabrio on the left, the regular Comet, the original, on the right. We're testing acceleration here. Comet S2 is pretty quick. Which one? The Comet S2 Cabrio is pretty quick. On the left side there, you can see it's faster than the original non-nerfed Comet S2 in a straight line, which is pretty crazy. It looks like it's going to be a pretty fast car. So it beats it to the 1/8 mile, half mile, and quarter mile. Let's see how the new version of the Comet on the right does. You can see those big twin turbos there on the bottom. They're not going to do much. This new S2 Cabrio is really quick, and the new nerfed Comet isn't as fast as the Comet was before here at La Puerta Dragway, but it's actually not that bad. You can see the gaps are pretty much the same when you're looking at it versus this new S2 Cabrio on the left. It's a little confusing. That's why I have some graphics there for you on the screen. The S2 Cabrio is now the fastest Comet S2 in a straight line, but you can see between the original Comet and the nerfed Comet, there's really not a huge difference, and the nerfed Comet actually got to the 1/8 mile a little bit quicker, probably down to reaction time just by a 1/100th of a second. But that's actually kind of hopefully good news for that nerfed Comet, because it's one of my favorite cars and I'm hoping that it's not too slow. But this new S2 Cabrio is off to a pretty solid start. Now, one thing, I guess before we get going here and talking about top speed, a widely accepted fact about cars is that convertibles are not typically as fast as the coupe version of the car. There's a lot of reasons go into that. Aerodynamics, structure, rigidity with the body. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So I'll give them a pass on the drag race. It's more expensive, so maybe they wanted to make it a little bit quicker than the regular Comet S2. But when it comes to top speed, the new Comet S2 Cabrio is really fast at my test track. 134.7 versus the original Comet S2, which was 127.0. It's 10 miles an hour faster than the nerfed S2, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So let's just take a step back though. Let's dial it down a second. We're gonna go check out lap times. This is where you should see the difference, because a convertible, like I said, it doesn't have that structure. It doesn't have a roof to hold it together. So in real life, the manufacturer is going to have to add a ton of extra metal bracing to make sure that the chassis doesn't flex. It's going to affect the handling, acceleration, all of that stuff. You can see though, it is neck and neck with the original here. So it's looking pretty good. As I'm driving these, it kind of reminds me why I love the original Comet S2. It's kind of difficult, right? And the Cabrio is even more difficult, I think. Luckily, the original is ahead now after we get through that high-speed section, and that's because the Cabrio, the back end kind of just shoots out on you. And it's fairly easy to correct if you can control your throttle, but it does impact the car's handling, which is probably how it should be. Gotta give Rockstar some credit there. As we go down the home stretch here, the original Comet S2 was faster. Good news, that means our nerfed Comet S2 should also hopefully be faster than the Cabrio, at least on my test track when it comes down to handling. And when we get started, they're both very, very close. And if you look at them as they come up to this first gantry, they are tied neck and neck. So it's looking like their performance is going to be pretty similar, which I'll accept, right? That seems fairly okay. The regular Comet should be quite a bit better on a track, but they are almost identical. You can watch the top and the bottom, just blow for blow. These guys are very similar, but once we get to that high-speed section, the Cabrio kind of pulls away, And as we go through here, this is where power matters, and we know the Cabrio has more power. So the new nerfed version of the regular Comet S2 is slower all around than this Cabrio. And the Cabrio, while this isn't the best lap time you'll see for the sports class, it's still pretty good at under 60 seconds. So we know that the Cabrio is going to be pretty fast. All of the power and the decent handling should turn into a pretty good speed score. It's not in the tuners class, which is weird because the regular S2 is. Maybe that's why it's a little bit faster. But when you look at the speed score, the new Comet S2, 91.15 is insanely quick. That's faster than the previous Growler used to be before it got nerfed. And then the original S2 was really good at 89. It dropped to an 87.82 speed score. Not as much of a drop as we saw for the Growler. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. It's a pretty good one and it's not getting a whole lot of love.
What the dude?
I hear you, man, but what can you do? That Growler video also has my theory on why they slowed these cars down so much and why it might actually be a good thing for GTA going forward. So, like I said, be sure to check that out if you enjoyed this one. There's some good stuff in there. All has to do with expanded and enhanced. Overall, this Comet, I think, is still really good. It may not be as fast anymore, but it's still a lot of fun. It still has that kind of somewhat unpredictable but controllable oversteer that you get when you hit some curves or some bumps. I enjoy that. If you enjoy that, you'll like this car. If you're on a keyboard, you're probably not going to like racing it a whole lot, but I still think it's one of the better looking cars in the game. My biggest complaint with this new Cabrio version is it does not have the same customization options as the car that you see there. I really wanted to do a full exposed roll cage Cabrio version of the 911 to race. I was so excited for that, and it's not in the tuners class, so we don't have that. This new Cabrio is fun and it has its uses, but that guy just ran right into the side of the car. I don't know how I didn't notice that when I was recording. Anyways, I'm not planning on replacing any of my 3 regular Comet S2s with this car though, because of the lack of customization. I'll keep the one you see here, but I was really hoping to have more, and I think Rockstar kind of dropped the ball a little bit here. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you next time.